Lessons from failed SaaS startups that you really ought to know. Let's talk about why do SaaS startups fail, right? The reasons are very, very predictable. So let's talk about them. So number one, SaaS startups fail when they fail to get product market fit because they don't know the customer well enough. Everyone knows you need product market fit, but how do you objectively know if you have product market fit? Let me explain. How do you measure mathematically if you do? You do so by charging a price for your product that's needed to support the kinds of sales and marketing efforts that you're going to use eventually, even if you aren't using that right now, and you are looking at your gross revenue retention. If you are selling to small, medium-sized businesses, you want a gross revenue retention at least in the low 80% range. If you're selling to enterprise clients, you want sort of 98% and above. Now, the key thing here is if you undercharge for your product, you're going to have very high retention and sort of assume that you have good product market fit. But you only have good product market fit when you're charging below market prices. That's not useful information. So you got to charge the market price. And by market price, I mean the market price needed or the price needed to support a full-scale sales and marketing effort, even if you're just working off of word of mouth and referrals right now in the early stages. Right? Super important. Next mistake people make is paying attention to the founder's vision more than the customer's needs. Right? We have this glamorization of the founder being this grand visionary because of a few high-profile founders and CEOs. But by and large, if you look at the vast majority of companies that really succeed in the long run, they do so because they make customers happy, right? And customers are happy to fork over money in exchange for their problems to go away. So the needs of the customer is more important than the vision of the founder, 99% of the time, right? So what you want to be careful about is if you're going to worship someone in your company, it's better to worship the customers with the money than the founder with the ego that has to be right and won't listen to the marketplace. Given those two choices, I'm going to pick the leadership team that focuses on maniacally on what the customers really need to make their life easier because they have all the money than the vision and the stubborn, persistent vision of a founder, right? There's a time and place to be persistent, and there's a time and place to listen to customers. When you have no customers, you listen to your gut and your vision and your intuition. But the more you have customers, you better be paying attention to them at least some degree. You don't have to listen to everything they want you to do, but you do have to understand why they're asking for what they're asking for so you can solve and address the underlying need, regardless of how they communicate that particular need. Super important. Next, the other reason SaaS companies often fail is they lack differentiation, right? If there are 50 companies that do, on the surface, look like they do the exact same things that you do, that is very tough to succeed in that particular environment. Most founders I noticed and talk to, they want to have a product that is better than their competitors. I don't care about better. It's not important to be better. It's far more important to be different, right? Because better is very subjective. Better for whom? You want to be different because different products attract different kinds of customers, right? A very high-powered product might attract a Fortune 500 company as a buyer. A very cost-efficient product that's not super powerful, but wow, it's really easy to use, might appeal to a small, medium-sized business, but not a Fortune 500 company, right? Certain features appeal to certain users in certain industries more so than in others. So the key here is to be different, right? When you are different and people see your product, they should have one of two reactions. They ought to love it or they ought to hate your product because that means the product is distinctive. It's designed for somebody. When a product is designed for somebody and you are that somebody, you love it. Wow, this product is just made for me. Or you can clearly see that product was made for somebody else and that somebody else is not me. Love or hate should be the outcome of your product demos. If it's right, where your product looks like the last 10 demos I saw, then you're appealing to nobody, right? You're not offending anybody. And you're also not inspiring anybody to buy from you. So very important that the product be different. And by different, I mean the product can physically be different. That's one way to differentiate. Who you serve can be a point of differentiation. How you reach customers. Maybe you have locked up all the key partnerships in your industry and you have a partnership distribution advantage. That is a point of differentiation because you're more accessible, right, to customers and where they're at. Any point of differentiation, as long as it's meaningful and impacts customers, is one you ought to think about. Super important to be different, more important than being better. Finally, the last reason SaaS startups often fail is they don't have enough focus of effort and resources on distribution. What do I mean by distribution? Distribution means the way by which you communicate with, aka market to customers, and how you sell them. So if you run ads on Google and they visit your website and then they have a self-service shopping cart experience to buy, that is a form of distribution, right? If you are putting a salesperson on an airplane to fly to the corporate headquarters of a Fortune 500 company in Europe, right, or a Global 2000 company in Europe, that is also a form of distribution, right? So distribution is how you get customers. If you have the best product in the world, but you have no way of communicating with prospective customers, you have no way of showing them a demo, you have no way of getting them and asking them to buy, the best product in the world is useless without distribution. In fact, if you look at the best companies in the world, often their products are not the best, right? Their products are generally sufficient, right? They're decent, but probably not the best product in the entire industry. Where they often win is they have a good enough product with great distribution, and they've become the standard, right? As technology markets mature over time, early adopters like you and me, right? We like features that are cool and killer and can give us a different kind of capability. But mainstream technology buyers, what they want is they want to buy the safe choice. They want to buy the choice in a software platform that everyone else is already using, right? It makes them feel comfortable. And that product is often the one that's the best distributed product, which is not always the one with the best features. So something important to keep in mind, distribution, super important. Not enough founders pay attention to it, especially if they are product and technology oriented. I hope you found this video useful. If you'd like additional tools for how to improve your skills to be a better CEO of a SaaS startup, enter the words CEO skills in a comment below this video, and I'll send you my free CEO skills quick start guide. I hope you've liked this video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, like the video, ask any questions you might have, and enter the word CEO skills to get my CEO skills quick start guide.